Hey, this is John Baxter, founder of Anti-Aging Bed, and if you're looking to be better in better shape and better health, and you're looking to learn more about biohacking, you should listen to Hack Life Podcast with Joel Evans.
Biohacking, performance, mastery, mindset. This is a show about getting better every single day. The Hack Life with Joel Evans. Welcome to the show. All right, guys, welcome to the show. Really excited to have today's guest on this week, John Baxter. Many of you may not know him, but he's got a really amazing pain to purpose story in talking about how he broke his neck and was able to heal it naturally through some of the modalities that we're going to talk about today. And he really just talks about the importance of sleep and mitigating a lot of the EMFs and why grounding is so important. And we're going to get into it. It's a really, really jam-packed episode. I think you're going to like learning a lot about John. Another neat thing is John is going to be at the Biohacking Congress event in Las Vegas, March 19th through 20th. I'm going to be there too. So come hang out with us. You know, there's going to be over 30 plus great speakers and biohacking and health and wellness. There's going to be a whole bunch of like an exhibit space. We are going to connect. The last time I got to go to this event was in Silicon Valley during at the peak of the pandemic. And so what was really nice is that there wasn't as many people, and so it was a really great chance to just connect with a lot of the speakers and a lot of the experts on a really nice intimate level, which you don't always get at a lot of these events because they're just so jam-packed and there's just so many people and there's just so much overwhelm that you don't get that time. And I really like that. I think the same thing is going to happen this one. It's going to be jam-packed with some great speakers and experts, but at the same time, it's going to be small enough where we can all connect as a tribe and really get to learn and connect with each other, which I think is nice. So if you're interested in going to that event, you can actually go to www.biohackingcongress.com, use the code JoelEvan. You're going to get 30% off. I don't get anything. I don't get any money for any of this stuff. I'm just promoting the event because I think it's going to be an amazing event, and I know because I was there last time and I was a speaker myself, so it's going to be great. I hope to see you guys there. I hope to connect with you. And yeah, without further ado, the great John Baxter from the Anti-Aging Bed. All right, I'm here with John Baxter, sleep expert and founder of the Anti-Aging Bed. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you for having me on.
Man, I'm really excited to chat with you today. You know, there's so much to talk about, and not just, I mean, first of all, when anybody hears the word anti-aging bed, people know me. I'm like, woo-woo, I love all this stuff. I love the biohacks. I love all these modalities, but I'm sure they're going to be like, Joel, seriously? Like, you're going to hack your bed too? Like, what? Like, come on, man. Are you serious? But there's a reason for it. There's a reason for that, and I'm sure you're going to tell us why. So, you know, welcome to the show, and I'm always really just curious, like, you have a company called the Anti-Aging Bed. You focus on sleep health. Like, when was the day you realized, like, there was a need for this? Like, this is what I'm going to make my life's mission and purpose doing.
Well, I have a long story. I have a pain to purpose healing story, and I'm over 20 years on this specific focus topic. And it started out being a kid that, you know, was allergic. I was a jaundice kid, and I had all these problems. My dad was in the military, so immediately, I had an older brother. Immediately, without even knowing it, wrestling was my sport. So I was kind of a natural in it just because my brother did, and I kind of understood it. And that sport takes a long time, a lot of discipline, a lot of tenacity, discipline, everything you could think of that. You know, if you're man to man in combat, you know, it's for a kid, it's fun because you're actually creating your own style, your own moves, and you're doing the best you can. And so I was on a tough team too. So everyone, you know, had to carry their own. And you know, after school, I got a half-ride scholarship to Indiana, and basically throughout all that, the AAU wrestling all year round freestyle, Greco-Roman, school wrestling. That's pretty much all I did. I didn't really have a whole bunch of a social life. But in one of my matches, it was for a Greco-Roman state finals. I actually souped the guy on his head, but souped myself on my own neck.
Oh no.
So I got back on top of the guy really quick into the match, and my hands didn't work. So it was like hands squeeze, nope, and it was like that. And I was like, Coach, I think I don't know, I'm dizzy. I'm really getting really dizzy here, and I can't even use my hands. And that's the most important thing that you can do is grab someone. So I was up 5-0. And essentially in the match, then I got really clobbered. I basically was using my elbows to stand up and stuff, and basically coach said it was a ganglion. Don't worry about it. And this is the former Olympic coach as my coach. So you never want to let that down, and you never want to let your students down. So if your students are watching you in a big match and your coach, so essentially what happened. I stayed in the match, got clobbered. Going into the final 20 seconds, they stood us both up, and he was up 11-10. And he goes double underhooks on me. It's a Greco, so it's only upper body, and I have no hands. And I remember doing this move in middle school, where we're just between the timelines of the coach yelling at you. We were screwing around doing moves. I actually pulled that move off when I needed it most. It was my Jean-Claude Van Damme movement. Faked it left, smacked him in the head right, and actually won the match. So I won the match with a broken neck, a 5-minute match in the first 30 seconds. Won that state title in Greco-Roman in front of my students and everyone. But immediately after, I was wearing a neck brace when I went to the hospitality room to get healed. Went to the doctor. They were basically like, dude, 4 through 6 is crushed. That's why your hands aren't working. So there's very little nerve attachment. With that type of impact. So, that sudden impact, and it comes back. I'm lucky I didn't, have just a cut off from my spine down. So there's even a leakage in energy that still is leaking with this electrical body that we have. But you're as good as your last race. That I lived with 15 years of chronic pain after that one little decision, because my own mother had neck surgery when I was young, and I just said, screw it. I hobbled off into my own world after that. No one understood me. And essentially the pain that ensued was so deep that morphine never worked. And then I got addicted to pain pills really quick. I think the day I took 13 pain pills in a 24-hour period, that was the last time I took any more pain pills. I went to go, in that period of time, I went to go see every single type of doctor. Surgery was the only answer. And I thought, if I got the surgery, I'd be just as worse off. In the end. And it was a different time. Maybe the times now are a lot different. But during those times, it was a specific way they did the surgery for neck surgery. It was like the Peyton Manning type of surgery where he got. So it wasn't that great. It was, you're destined to have more. And I knew my body could heal itself. That was one other thing, even though I lived with chronic pain for 15 years. So in that moment, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't do anything. I went to a sleep specialist, and he was a technology sleep specialist. And the first time I ever felt relief was in a memory foam mattress. And this is over 20 years ago, so it wasn't like last week. It was like when memory foam first came out.
Yeah.
I'm a grandfather, so and just so you know, and I also have my another kid on the way. I'm actually going to be a father, full circle again. Wow. That's how long ago this was. And in that time when one door open, one door shut, my career was over. And that's how only thing I really had envisioned. So it wasn't like I had a lot of time to think about it. So after a little couple months, I found that the guy that owned he actually was training an employee at a store he had in Indianapolis, Indiana. He was out of Orlando, Florida, and that's where I am now. But anyways, the pressure relief that I got, at least it was significant enough where I was like, this is really helping,
Yeah.
even though it was the pressure relief. And then from there, I talked him into allowing me to move to Florida, and this was the guy that originally bought. His father was the guy that originally brought the adjustable bed to Florida in 1964. So instantly they're like, here's this wild and crazy health guy that likes this technology. And he let me run with it. I was very grateful for my own father, let me run with what I believed. He was very much the same, when you're allowing a kid to be themselves, make mistakes, fight through it. So I've had that around all my coaches. So that allowed me to get here as well. I was able to run at things that I believed and wanted to be passionate about. So I took my passion and all the discipline I had with breaking my neck, and then I became an innovator in the mattress industry. And since then, in the last 20 years, there's very few people in the mattress industry that have done the accolades that I have in terms of technology and innovation, even beat $1 billion company in court called Sleep Number.
Oh, hey.
So they're like 126 wins and 1 loss. It was due to me, and I never give up. That's the one thing I learned. Never give up. Do what you think you should do. Try to help others. Help yourself. So a little bit of it was a selfish motive, so that I could, heal my own neck on my own, without the surgery. But it was a long learning process. I had to meet the right people. The right people came in my lives at the right times. And I have all the same people around me now in the new corporation, which is the anti-aging bed. And because Baxter Medical, since we've made such a splash against Baxter Medical, the $20 billion company, I had to change my name a little bit. So we changed it to Baxstar. Just like Starbucks or something.
Yeah.
I'm Baxstar Industries. And so we're into the innovation, and through all that, I'm a patented inventor over all the years. I have a lot of cool technology. I was working on these things 10 years ago already, and people already thought I was crazy, so I was already told I was crazy. But during this time and era in history, I'm kind of the leading guy in the medbed industry. So in the medbed course of things, the high-end Tesla technology and stuff like that, I'm pretty much the leader of the movement. And from all that time that's my pain to purpose story. Each and every day I'm helping people. People are coming to me with stage 4. They're coming to me for everything. And so I'm not a doctor myself. That's the crazy thing. I'm a biohacker, of course. I learned from the guys that were in anti-aging medicine. I have 4 of the most amazing doctors that work side by side with me. I have a savant on my team that is my head researcher. Try to mess with that guy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then we just keep putting an amazing team together, and we keep coming out with new inventions and things that are really helping people. And a lot of these inventions that I talk about were inventions that were cancel culture inventions with knowing that the body is electric, that you can heal with frequency, vibration, energy types of frequencies in medicine. So that's my in a nutshell. That's the pain to purpose story that God has gifted me. I feel very grateful that I was able to get it to this point. And but you're only as good as your last race. So even with your health, and even with the technology, so I'm happy to be where I am. I'm not working at all. I'm doing what I enjoy doing, and that's working with people.
Yeah. Wow. Love that. And I love what you talk about the body is electric. You know, I'm a newbie practitioner myself. If you know NewFit, the company with Garrett Salpeter, they do a lot of the DC current. And we talk a lot about that, right? The body is electric, that book by Robert DeBecker. Anybody who hasn't read that should read that, talking about how, you know, salamanders and how they can grow back. They're cut off their tail, they can grow it back. And he did a whole bunch of experiments and really kind of pioneered some of what you're talking about. I'm just curious though. So for people that are listening, so like your neck, C4, C6, is it pretty much healed? Can we say, like, I mean, you said there's a little leakage still, but like if we were to do like some type of X-ray or whatever, and how is it looking? Is it pretty looking normal?
So you're only as good as your last race. I was vegan for 8 years. There's levels to your discipline. When I'm super disciplined, I can say I'm healed, right? And I try to stay away from beer and pizza, which were my problem areas, because it was just too enjoyable and it was just too much fun. Sometimes coffee, these types of things. But overall, I get into, I do Tai Chi now. That's my thing. It's a flowing movement, and, I have my own style of this that I, work on and I created continuously. But yeah, when I'm in kind of fighting mode, basically fighting shape, I will say that I'm completely healed. Right now, with everything going on in my life, I'm trying to bring it down a notch to make it calmer. This is just the accurate truth. But the last 6 months to 9 months, when our company had exploded globally, that I had to take, as the CEO, I had to take on all these responsibilities. And, it's not I like the healing portion and the technology portion, but I had to take on a lot of things, and a lot of people are expecting me. So that's probably not the best thing to say, but that's the accurate truth. And but I know here shortly that I've got enough stuff done that I'll be able to lower out that type of production and do more internal and go back to where I was. So yeah, right now, and I have a baby on the way, so I'm going to be a father again in about a month.
Nice. Congrats.
So that's another stress. If you have if you know what that kind of stress
I have two,
is,
so yes. I know exactly what that's like. Yeah.
you got to do what you got to do. So
yeah. Well, but what I love about your story, right, is I'm a health coach, and I come in contact with a lot of people. One of my good friends actually was a really well-known wrestler, and he had a neck fusion. And I just think, like, man, how can we prevent some of that? A good friend of mine also, who I'm coaching, has neck issues, and the spine is like bone on bone. And so I really want them to be listening to your podcast and this podcast and just listening to your story and saying, hey, like, it may not be easy. I'm sure the journey wasn't easy. Now here it's 20 years later when you started that. But like, hey, there's ways, and we can rebalance the body in a way that it's functional, and you didn't have to get surgery, and you're proof of it. So that's the inspiring part.
Yeah, so there's some supplements. Like, I just keep it simple, right? Exercise, nutrition, and sleep. And you can break those three down into 1,000 different, variables. But, I used MSM at a high level to regrow my cartilage in my neck. From there, a lot of magnesium to relax the muscles, because your body will try to protect itself and tighten down.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure that you're relaxed and limber even through the pain. That's where my Tai Chi comes in, and my Kung Fu. I've been to Shaolin Temple. I've been pretty much everywhere on this search to try to heal myself. Anything from the shoulder area to putting like tennis balls underneath there to doing everything, doing the upside down machine, doing the massage chair. Make sure the liquids that you put in your body are good. At that time, it was, good teas, neem to pull out the lymphatic. High vitamin C. I'm a Bruce Lee fan. If you want to get crazy, take 10,000 milligrams of vitamin C every day and see what happens.
Yeah.
Right. Start doing healing at not at a intermediate stage. Get yourself up to the level what you need. but also Dr. Greg, one of the guys that was our head chief scientist since we inceptualized. He was a doctor of chiropractic, doctor of acupuncture, and doctor of marijuana. And I'm just going to be straightforward. I had to, instead of the medical, Vicodin that they prescribed me, I did marijuana, and I know that's on a level that I guess it could be easy to do at night and just fall asleep, but at a level where it took the edge off of the pain.
Yeah.
It was such excruciating pain that there was I could go years and I did go years without it, but eventually you're like, something's got to give. So every once in a while when the pain was too bad, just take an edge off. But some of the other things that we did was serapeptase. So this was something that Dr. Greg had showed me. He was like one of the pioneers in serapeptase. So it's a connective tissue enzyme that eats away connective tissue. And so each time there's a tear in your cellular structure, it creates more connective tissue. Well, they learned this in China as well. Essentially, the mulberry tree attracts these little silkworms that create these little silk balls. And if you try to open up the silkworm, it's the little pod where the silkworm lives, it's literally indestructible. It's that much pure connective tissue. But basically, taking that, it's an enzyme that runs through the body, and it melts away, and the enzyme eats away the connective tissue. So then it's DNA on top of DNA, and even any types of bone spurs that are excessive to your regular bone will start to eat away as well. So there was a lot of things I did: yoga, high levels of kung fu and tai chi. Getting this body expanded all the way and contracted, meditation, Wim Hof breathing, those were called something different before. So there was a lot of different modalities. I tried basically all of them to try to help, and now I call that layers of healing. So if it's a layer of healing, there's a chance that you could. Going at knowing what your body can do, knowing what it's not being stressed out, but knowing that if you're doing something good, like one of the things I said, and getting a good enough sleep, and mainly I didn't say this, but the technology that I created was one of those, 5 or 6, maybe 3 to 5%ers that took me over the edge for my healing, which is the technology I created.
Awesome. That's amazing. So let's jump into that. Let's talk about some of the technology you created, but let's start, just with the beds. I'm just really curious. Like when I look at your beds, by the way, we were just talking offline. I'm a little bummed that I found out about your beds after I moved into a new house and bought a bed, but it's all right. I can still get the bed cover. We were talking about that. But like your bed, you're talking about it uses electron, nano, ion technologies. People are going to be like, what? So, yeah, kind of talk about that and why you decided that all these are important.
Yeah, so electron, nano, and ion technology. Those are fancy terms, but they have a lot of meaning. Nano means extremely small, right? It's at a level where, the technology for the human eye can barely see. But if you clump together a lot of nano, you actually can see something, right? Nano levels, like looking at a glass of water and saying, I don't think there's any fluoride in there, but the fluoride is actually a nano level technology. You can't see it in the water, but doesn't mean it's not there, right? Mm-hmm. So nano just means tiny on a very small scale. Ion technology is we have on our cellular structure, negative ions are better and healthier than positive, and that's a kind of intermediary technology to the electron. But our cellular structure works on ions and mainly electrons. And so any type of damage that we have in our cells is due to an imbalance of electrons. So a free radical or free radical damage, like let's say it's the pain, the stiffness in the neck, or a cut on the skin, that cellular structure is missing one electron. So it's once that electron is missing, it goes through all the cells, and it'll trade and steal electrons, and that area starts to create oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is like rusting. So if you can think of a piece of steel that's clean, as we get older, truly we're rusting. We're rusting away. If you can think of Wizard of Oz, the Tin Man, he needs oil because he's rusting. Same thing, we're rusting, right? And so essentially what a free radical is the rust going rampant in the body. Static electricity would be another term for it, an electrical body. Having too much static in the body up and down the spine will cause pain, stiffness, stress, disease. So electron, if you can have an electron donor that can balance the cell becomes normal, balanced. And that's what we need. And I believe during our lifetime, it's going to be very easy to live 150 years. So understanding these, and a couple of the podcasts I did earlier with a couple of the guys on our team, they're studying. They're kind of the original health freedom doctors. And there's different types of ways that the body generates antioxidants, but typically we think of the electron and an antioxidant is the same exact thing. So when I say electron donor, what I really mean too is an antioxidant. An antioxidant is what we need to neutralize the damage in the body. So, but realize when we take large doses of antioxidants like vitamin C, they're amazing and I love them and I don't want to get rid of them. But also realize that it only lasts as long as, it's depleted. They deplete because we constantly need a flow of antioxidants to keep this body going. So with damage in the body, essentially we can do two things. And Linus Pauling was the guy that found vitamin C, famous inventor. Reason why Bruce Lee even started taking 10,000 milligrams a day, can't overdose on it. But the antioxidants that you do have that you can get, you can ingest, and you can also absorb. You can absorb the antioxidants from the ground. The ground wire in the socket of our houses was put there by Nikola Tesla, knowing that without a ground, everything starts breaking. Computers start overheating. We're no different than very much a computer. So if we have too many free radicals, or we get too much static electricity, we break. Same with the computer, because you open up the computer, it says keep static away. Our computers break because it has too much static as well. So if you got too much static, you need to ground. You need to not only ground, but also get those antioxidants, and all the way up to what we call right now, which is the significant portion, ground to a level of EMF shielding. And then after that, there's other techs. But this is something I can show you if this technology that we have here. It takes advantage of the ground. So the ground that we have.
So for people that are watching on video, you can actually see John's going to demonstrate this. But so if you're just listening on audio, you won't be able to see this. And before you do that, I just want to make sure. So, and that's what makes kind of your bed sheet specifically. We're talking about the bed sheet unique, because we all have seen like grounding cables and stuff, but yours does. It's twofold, right? From what I understand, it's not only just grounding you, but it's also blocking out EMFs, right?
Yeah, it took 8 years. So this is something, even with all my knowledge and all my connections in the industry, I had to live next to Spider-Man for 8 years in the South Carolinas and the North Carolinas, up and down that belt where manufacturing used to occur. That's starting to come back. So I'm using a U.S. manufacturing to create my products because this wasn't even created in China. Nowhere else in the world could you find the technology we created at a level that we've created it. So basically, every house and every foundation that's under the new standards is going to have a 15-foot copper bar nailed down deep into the earth. And when you do that, you're dealing with the telluric current. There's actually current in the earth. Even though it looks like dirt and sand and all that, there's actually static and energy going back and forth at a level we can't see. It's called the telluric current. So basically, sometimes you can't get the type of ground at the top of the earth that you will deep down, right? Getting into the water and everything else, the water line and everything else. There's real ions and real electrons down there. And so when you plug in, and there's resistors in here to protect anything coming back, a backlog, at a fast rate. There's enough where you can get the electrons through your body at a rate that's not going to give you the noise. Like when you touch a doorknob, you're actually discharging your static. It's either happening from the doorknob to you or you to the doorknob. Typically, Americans are with all the issues, the 5Gs, the cell phones, and everything else. We are getting autoimmune diseases because we have an excessive amount of free radical static charge in our bodies, right? Energy flows from a place of high to low, right? I have an excessive amount of voltage, static in my body. I touch a doorknob, there's a shock because I just discharged. So the same thing, our body needs this as much as possible, if not 24 hours a day. We were connected to the earth. We were connected to the beach. And if you go out into, the least amount of cases of cancer in the world are in Africa. Why? Because people don't wear shoes. The only places that cancer show up in Africa are actually where people wear shoes.
Wow.
Per se, that's why they call it the soul, right? Why do they create rubber soles? I don't know. Were they trying to steal our soul? Look, I don't know. But it really does give you connection. It truly does. When you're connected to yourself at a level where you can connect to humanity. And that's the beauty of being connected to what I'm saying. So quickly here, our bed cover, this is the thing that went global. It fits on any mattress. So it doesn't matter what kind of mattress you have. It fits over the top. And it comes, this is a silver conductive fabric. It's really a technology. So as much as it seems to be a fabric, it really is a technology. This thing stretches and doesn't snap the threads. And so that was a huge thing because we had to figure that out. If you did this with anything else that was silver, it would stop working. So we had to figure out a lot of crazy stuff. In our bed cover, there's 8 ounces to 3 pounds of real silver. So they are under $1,000. But we also have things like this called a BioShield. You could actually use this to sleep on. But it offers antimicrobial, right? Because silver is antimicrobial. You've heard of colloidal silver, but actually the silver element is antimicrobial, I can't say some of them because they think we're talking about, the stuff before the snake bite. But,
Right.
But yeah, this is giving you at a level of EMF shielding. So I'm not going to talk about it. I will prove it. But this also gives you EMF shielding while you're connected to it. And on the back, we have FDA cleared far infrared technology. That this is another nanotechnology. So on that bed cover, there's 4 technologies in one. And, we've helped everyone from kids with veterans with PTSD, to kids with epilepsy, and all kinds of issues right now with kids, but helps you go to sleep for sure.
So when you're saying that with like veterans of PTSD or just kids with maybe learning, learning and ADHD and stuff like that, are you saying like the parents and people are reporting to you just by adding this one modality into their life, they're seeing like dramatic results, huh?
Yeah, people are remembering their dreams, they're having dreams. Kids with autism are coming back, stopping epilepsy seizures, and we've got even people reporting that their husband or significant other are basically no longer helping the issues with even dementia. So
Wow.
yeah, it's connecting you to the earth for a moment, right? If we got all this static charge and we're getting autoimmune diseases, our body is not ready to even heal itself. It can't because of the modern gadgets and everything. And so what's going on is they're getting the antioxidants they need. They're filling basically their charge, just like a cell phone. It's going all green. And once it's going all green and they're filling their charge, their body is actually able to heal itself on its own. And over that one little simple thing, right? So when I started creating this, most of the stuff here wasn't even available.
Hmm.
So that's why this is so unique. And I can show you right now. You can use kind of a surge protector to plug it in here. This can be plugged in a surge protector or something else, but I'd like to show you a really quick demonstration about this tech. And
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
this thing comes on and off, so you can wash it. This is a bio shield that we have here. It is gonna probably get some of the electricity from the computer. But what I can do is I can prove to you everything I told you about. I'm going to turn this to millivolts. I'm going to turn this to AC current, just like Nikola Tesla had it and knew about. And I'm going to take this alligator clip. I'm going to plug it right to the conductive cover. And right quickly here, if you can see the numbers, and hopefully you can see it,
Yep.
that's static electricity in the air. I'm proving to you just with the other alligator clip in the air, there is static electricity in the air. There is EMFs. And I'm going to prove it to you what's in my body. I'm going to touch the piece of metal, and you're going to see it jump up. It actually went to 16 to 160.
Hmm.
This is the type of inflammation I'm talking about. That's extra voltage that's never been in the body since the history of mankind.
Wow.
And so that is the extra static and the extra inflammation that we have in our body. And that's the type of stuff that's creating the autoimmune issues. So quickly here, when I connect to the cover, you'll see that it goes to 0. I've done two things by showing you this. I've grounded myself. I've EMF shielded myself electrically. I'm connected to the earth. I'm basically, when you drive through a cave and you lose your reception, I'm basically seen as a rock to the EMFs. So I'm connected, and this discharging is what's making people sleep. It's making the nervous system relax, and it's giving people enough antioxidants where, like I said, from my own pain to purpose story, it was one of the reasons why people were like, how can you, even with after the broken neck in my late 30s, they're like, how can you be hardcore for 3 hours? How can you exercise for 3 hours in a row, hardcore? Most people give up after 1 hour, hour and a half. And I was like, well, I've added pink salt to my yerba mate. I've added, vitamin C to this, and, I'm doing this. And they're like, that's unreal. How are you able to do it at that high level? You just get stronger and stronger as the day goes. And it was really through a bunch of these biohacking techniques that I was using.
Yeah, and I mean, there's got to be so much. We know that when you can reach deep levels of sleep, right? That's where your body's recovering. That's where it's rejuvenating. That's where all these hormones are being released. That's where the lymphatic system in your brain washes away, and that's where the healing takes place. So I've got to imagine that by adding this one quote unquote hack, by adding this to your life, like that is going to kind of, like you said, reset yourself. So you're in this cave, and then the body now can really start to charge, can really start to heal, right? I mean, have you actually seen anything? I'm curious. Sorry, I cut you off. Have you seen anything quantified in terms of HRV? I'm sure all of the biohackers like Aura Rings or BioStrap and are quantifying it. I'd be curious.
We actually have a couple of these stories. One of them I remember is this lady. She was elderly. She used the bracelet Fitbit item for years. So she had 4 years before she broke her hip, right? Track record, and she literally broke her hip on Thanksgiving, and she couldn't see the family, so it was an emergency surgery. It was either all or nothing. Like, she had to get a hip replacement. So she got a hip replacement, and we sent her. We heard about the news. We sent her the bed cover. We also sent her the C60. So there's different technologies that enhance and complement one another. So I told her to soak her hip in C60 and start using the cover to sleep on. So basically less than a week after the surgery, she reported her best sleep in over 4 years, but it was off the charts better. And so basically in less than so she made Christmas without a walker. So wow. In that, as a 70-year-old woman, right? She broke her hip, got the surgery. In 1 week, after 1 week is over, and she was using our bed cover, it was just short of like a week and a half. And then the doctor said she was 4 to 6 weeks ahead of schedule. So she actually decided that she didn't need the cane or the walker, because at 70 it's kind of tough. Yeah. But she made Christmas. So that was one of the stories that was like, wow, this is amazing. It was complimentary. Like, that's what I believe. You'll never hear me say one technology is going to be the silver bullet for all. I realize healing is different for everyone, and the more layers you have, essentially, the better off you are if it's something that coincides with you. So really what she used was just those two magical things, which we offer is that we make our own C60 and the bed cover. And those two things had a miraculous effect on her inflammation after surgery. And from there, she actually allowed us to do a write-up about her and just to let people know about this cool story.
Yeah, that's amazing. You've got a ton of other stuff on the website that I don't think we're going to have time to talk about today, because I can see I'm looking at the time. We're kind of run up to the hour, but I just want people to know, like, it's not just the bed. Like, you've got other stuff there, the med bed, the Tesla plasma. You've got these sauces that you guys make. Was that with the C60 also? Is that included in your sauces?
That's one of our sauces.
Yeah.
To make it to the sauce level, it has to be like next to amazing.
Love that. And so I would love to probably have you on for another round 2 where we can go deeper into that. But, I'm just curious, are there any other exciting projects you're working on right now? I mean, I know you've got a lot, like you said, on your plate. What's next?
We've got, like I said, some of the other technologies, but, we've got new mattresses coming out. A mattress industry is a commodity industry, so I'm not in that anymore, thank God. I'm not in a commodity industry. I'm in a technology industry. So I've made it took a long time, over 20 years, but I'm glad I'm in pure technology now. And, but I've learned my lessons and understanding. So even though we're a technology industry, we do have, per se, mattresses, but they have to have an ecological and technological story to them. So we do have some of those. We've got bed covers, bio shields,
The bioshields are like just for people that you can actually like put them in your office and stuff, so you can actually EMF and kind of like shield the room, right? Is that what you're kind of talking about?
Yeah, you can use it in a third of your life is in your bed. A third of your life is a lot of times behind your computer. So like the thing I showed you, you could put this on we call this the chair station. You're actually sitting in it. And the level of the blue blocking red or yellow biohacking glasses,
Yeah.
and you never know until after the day is over, right? Because you remembered yesterday, and then today that you wore them, you realize, now my eyes are still at the level of like when I first started.
Yep.
So you sense those types of things. Just seems small, but those little percentages add up. We have an EMF shielding pineal gland situation here with the orbital sockets of your eyes.
Talk about that. Talk about that, because anybody looking at that just says big deal. It's an eye mask. I have an eye mask. That's what they're going to say. So, but talk about the pineal gland. The pineal gland. That gets talked about by all the gurus, right? Of opening your third eye chakra, the pineal gland, melatonin's formed in there. That's where people have these visions, right? So, yeah, talk about that.
Well, I will on the next time I go. I'll teach you. I'll actually teach you like 3 ways to open it. I had some amazing experiences without drugs to get it there. So,
oh wow,
but this is an orbital socket. Basically, if light from the sun comes in, it creates serotonin. As soon as it gets dark outside and the moon's out, it creates melatonin and serotonin when it's daylight. So it's a circadian rhythm. But in our technology age, the cell phone is seen as light. So that's why we can't sleep. So this is a one-directional EMF shield, the orbital socket. Any light that gets in, if you have an EMF shielding situation with an eye mask, people go to sleep really easy with this simple little eye mask, and it has our silver. I'm an inventor that created the first antiviral mask, really, because I already had the technology to make it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cool invention that came off of this little, what appears to be a piece of fabric, but it's a piece of technology. But I know we're running late here, but I think the pineal gland is what we should talk about next a little bit, because there's an exciting story. We ran at that for a long time.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. I wanted to jump into some lightning round questions for you. But
Sure.
before I do, and I know we're going to do a round 2, but any questions that, I didn't ask you today that you wish I had?
So there's quite a bit, this, I love this industry that we're in. And, I'm really a student of life. So, there's always going to be bigger and better and cooler, possibilities. But literally, I'm just essentially a version of my teachers before me. So, at the end, I'm just thankful for them being there. I take little breadcrumbs from every teacher I had, and every book I read, and every person I meet. So that's basically, my vision of like how I'm staying humble doing what I'm doing, and that's what I love to do. So if other people like this type of attitude and thinking, like-minded, that's really I've created a team that we all have this like-minded shared vision.
Love that. That's amazing. All right, you ready to jump into some lightning round questions?
Sure.
I'm curious, if the old you could see the new you, what would the new you say?
I would say essentially you're on the right path. Just don't give up.
Yeah, love that. Hey, who's someone in the health and wellness world that you follow or that inspires you? You're out there doing so much and helping so many people. Who's out there that inspires you?
I like Dr. Mercola. Some of the guys out there. I'm friends with Health Nut.
He's great.
Paul Check, and a couple of guys on my team. Basically, I feel very grateful to be working around them. And I kind of keep to myself. So a lot of people ask me, well, what's going on? What do you think about what's going on? And I'm like, look, I have no clue what's going on because I'm integrated and infiltrated with what I'm doing. So there might be someone out there I haven't known or seen yet. I know the people that I like are not all talk.
Yeah.
So essentially, if they're not all talk, then I really like them.
Yeah. Love that.
So there's a lot of guys out there in this type of field, um, uh, but what we've been known is you know bring it to market, prove it. I like to be in that entrepreneurial world. Like there's a lot of guys that talk about entrepreneurship, and that is something I've been. I chose this field not because it was easy. I chose it because it was tough. Right. That is the constitution that I like to surround myself with, and it's that same passion I had before. I'd rather get second or third in the toughest round robins of the bracket than win first.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you surround yourself with people that push you and motivate you. And even if you fail, I learned this from my kid that was younger than me on my team. He taught me that loss, when you lose and when there's loss, there's something to learn. When you win and everything like that all the time, literally learn nothing. So there's a lot more to gain when you lose than when you win.
Yeah, I love that. I had a mentor say like, "What have you ever learned from success?" And I was like, "Yeah, I never thought about that, right? Because we get so down on ourselves when we fail, but it's like when you're successful, you don't even know what's going on because you're winning." So yeah, I love that.
Yeah, my good high school fight partner died when he was like 21, and he was a remarkable person in my life. He taught me that, and I was like, man, that was pretty crazy. So, going into life, when I broke my neck, I was prepared
Mm,
to lose big and be forgotten about, and then the simple comments of like get knocked down 8 times, get back up once. That seems like the stupidest quote ever, but it makes the most sense. Like
yeah,
you're gonna get knocked down, you're gonna get beaten the hell out of, been left for dead, and that's a good. I mean, that's that tenacity to say, hey, um, if you want to do something in your life, don't think in short terms, think in long term, and if you keep yourself healthy and your self care at a level, it doesn't matter if you achieve your results in 20 or 30 years. It's your own determination that will get you there. And sometimes I think in this day and age that people push so hard that they oftentimes get frustrated and give up. So you're almost better off, finding an even keel that's healthy within you and the people around you that you can get there, rather than just burn up all the fuel and then get discouraged.
yeah. Well said. I'm a big reader. Any books? Are there like top 1 to 3 books that you recommend that you read that you would say impacted your life and someone else should read the same?
I think the Tao Te Ching. So
Mm,
that was the book I kept with me for at least a decade and a half. So it was something that you don't understand, you'll never understand. Doesn't matter how many times you pick it up, But um, there's a lot of good books. The simple books. The Bible's a good one, and then the Dead Sea Scrolls is a good one.
mm,
But a lot of the books that we read, that I've read, the I would just get. I like Bruce Lee's books. I like philosophy books. So at the end of the day, there's nothing. I had some unique books like I like prose and poetry as well. So, but anything to do with the Tao, Tao, Taoism. I'm a Christ believing Taoist. That's
mm.
kind of what I kind of read into. So my energy and my science, it comes from Taoism. My understanding of creation, is Christ. So I kind of mix the two, but that's my own truth, and no one can have the same truth, and that's what I kind of landed in. And I know that's not a segment that people want to probably hear. You see that you're Christ, or you're nothing, right?
Right.
But actuality, I can't lie. If I lie, then it's gonna be fake in the sense that I'm not being true to myself. So that's what I believe in science, and that when I say that, I mean science and religion and everything is one.
Yeah.
Right? It's not a duality like science is over there, religion's. Like I already been past that. That's like 2014,
Yep.
right? 2014 taught me that, and now this is where I'm at.
Yeah. Awesome. Last couple questions. You have the anti-aging bed. You're the founder. Any rituals or hacks that you practice kind of on a regular basis?
I like, and people say they don't like to drink yerba mate because too much of it. Just don't drink the roasted. But I love yerba mate tea with my honey. So, I have a huge thing with honey too, and Save the Bees. That's as big as my anti-aging bed. But there's hacks. It would be Tai Chi, Qigong and Tai Chi, and keep you limber, moving, keep your energy flow going. There's and surround yourself with people that are maybe the opposite of you.
Well said. Love that, brother. All right, man. Last but not least, where can people find you and learn more about what you're up to in the anti-aging bed?
So we've got in this. So you can find us at antiagingbed.com. I'll send you a link if you don't have one, Joel. And basically on all the uncensored, because really I'm an uncensored guy. I left the censored network some times ago, and people know me from the uncensored networks, not from the censored networks. So basically, anywhere you go, BitChute I'm under anti-aging bed as a @ sign. But if you go to YouTube, I'm under Real John Baxter under YouTube, and Facebook, Real John Baxter. And so that's kind of where you can find me at. And
awesome.
Yep.
Awesome, brother. Well, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you, Joel. It was a real treat. Thank you for having me, and I look forward to doing another show with you soon.
Yeah, and I'll see you at Vegas for the Biohacking Congress. You're going to be there.
Okay, yeah.
Awesome.
Keep up your awesome energy. Thank you so much, Joel.
Appreciate it, brother. All right, that's it for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Hack Life. And if you did, please share this episode on social media and then tag me at Joel Levin Coaching. And don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes and give us a 5-star rating so that you don't miss any other great episodes. We can only spread our message when you share this knowledge with others that need it. Thanks a ton, guys, for the support.